Hi everyone. I want to talk a little bit about co-regulation and trying to help each other out in these times without trying to fix things. So really trying to notice our own distress about the situation that we're in right now, and noticing the distress of the other person, and how, if we love them, if we care about them, then we're going to feel distressed on their behalf. And so what can happen is we go into like fix it mode. So this is something that we all do. I do think it's something that dads do in particular. For sure, I've been doing it the past few days. And then what made me really go like, okay, I need to work on that, is noticing my lovely father doing that with me today. So super lovely man, really, really trying to be helpful to everybody in his life, including me. And does also have the tendency to kind of philosophize, to intellectualize, to kind of compare situations, try to give advice and fix things. And you could do this and you could do that, and you should do this and you should do that. And I think it's just like such a way of being that he doesn't even realize it. And I'm like, well, if that's happening with him, that's probably happening for me too. So I'm just trying to bring my attention to that. And in the meantime, just kind of ask you guys, is this something that's happening for you? So I bet you $1 million. People are getting a lot of should statements around how they should be managing childcare, how they should be scheduling their day, how they should be exercising, like make a routine, a workout routine. And you've really got to make sure that you put your clothes on every day, and like pretend that you're going to work, and just like live like normal but in your house. So everybody's got these ideas of what people should be doing, but the truth is that everybody has a different reality, different ways of coping, different resources, values, interests, and so sometimes it's not really as useful to give somebody advice. And what can happen is advice can feel like a burden. So even though we're like, like it's because this person loves us, it can still like feel heavy. So it's like, not only am I failing in my own expectations, but I'm failing in somebody else's expectations, right? Advice can feel like an expectation. And then you don't want to go back to that person because you're like, ooh, they might ask me if I followed their advice and I didn't. That's so awkward. So that's just like an unnecessary pressure. It can be like a lot more useful to ask questions. The other thing with advice is, we're all so different. And sometimes when people give advice, it sort of like communicates their judgments, if they say, oh, you should put your clothes on and like you're really going to work, underneath that is the judgment of you like working in your no pants kind of situation, which is actually kind of awesome. And I hope we can continue to not wear pants after this is all over. So yeah, not advice giving, not shoulding in particular, although advice is very welcome when people ask for it, especially among friends. Whereas in a more support relationship, it's, what do you think? So yeah, we really need to kind of make sure that we're really listening for the feeling, especially, if the person is maybe being a bit guarded about their feeling. You might not realize they're doing that, but usually if they're calling you up in the middle of the day, they may be feeling a bit lonely, they may be feeling a bit anxious, there may be a feeling there. And they might kind of talk around it and philosophize and intellectualize, and but really there's the feeling that needs to be acknowledged. So it can be really useful to be like, well, what are you looking for from me? Do you need advice? Do you need to, scream and yell and vent? Do you want some like feedback? Do you want to, me to like reflect back what I hear you saying? And that can actually kind of create the parameters for the conversation so the person doesn't get frustrated with like your attempts to help. So I really can't overstate the power of just like the phrase, "Oh man, that sucks," or "It really sounds like you're struggling." It sounds like you're a lot more anxious today than yesterday. What's that about? And really saying things just like, "You can do it. I believe in you. This is hard, but you can do hard things. This is hard for me as well. This is hard for all of us. This is really new and we're figuring out, and it's really normal to, struggle with that in some moments. I know you can do it." So asking, and if the help is needed, saying, "If I can help you in any way," being like, "Oh, really sounds like you could use some self-care right now. Like, it's okay to take a break," right? So, yeah, I think those are some of the suggestions that I'm thinking of that may be more useful than giving advice, and even more useful than feedback, more useful than just kind of like talking about, "Oh, well, some people do this and some people do that." Really just like that really can skip a step. It's just like, listen for the feeling, acknowledge the feeling, say it sucks. That is so much more important than like fixing it. We can get to the fixing it later. And if the person asks, you can do that together. But for now, let's just talk about what's happening. Okay, so I hope that resonates for people. And if you want more suggestions on how to have these difficult conversations, I'm happy to make some suggestions. So hope you're doing okay. Bye-bye.